know what to expect here at the Ghost Ships of Mallows Bay here in Maryland on the just off the Chesapeake Bay on the Potomac River. Pulling into the park, it is considered a park. It's a little, a little nervous there with all the signage and the spikes, and not your typical setup for a park, but it is open and no one has asked me to leave or anything. I've seen this place on satellites, but that's about it. And I didn't know that I wasn't going to be able to get up to the water or really get to see much as far as the ghost ships from the vantage point here. I do want to go explore this boat ramp over here. The Ghost Ships of Mallows Bay is a pretty cool story. It's about a story from World War I. 1917, the United States was about to enter World War I. And the German submarines, the U-boats, were taking down so many ships worldwide that we knew we were going to need a massive increase in our Navy. President Woodrow Wilson declared that we needed to increase the size of our Navy, and we needed to do it fast for the lowest amount possible as far as cost. And so what it did is it spurred a government agency, and next thing you know, you had companies trying to build boats as fast as they could, as cheap as they could. And then there was an agreement worked out to where 700 and some ships were to be built by wood. And we're talking about steamships that would go across the ocean from the United States or North America over to Europe. And they would carry war supplies for the United States and the Allies. Now, the reason for this is because steel was so hard to come by, and we're building ships so fast, and steel had to be reserved for the ships that would be in battle. And so they wanted to use these wooden steam cruisers to traverse the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Steel was by far the preferred material to build our ships out of, but there just wasn't enough of it to go around, or we couldn't manufacture it fast enough with steel. So massive shipyards were built to manufacture these wooden ships. It was done on the lowest bid, the lowest budget they could possibly acquire. And so what comes with that? You come with poor quality, you come with sizes that really shouldn't have been made. They should have been made much larger, because the size of some of these vessels, it wasn't enough to carry any materials. Some of them were built and brand new, not seaworthy. As in typical government fashion, the ships were not finished on time. And so the war basically was ending and the ships were just being finished. So a project that took a ton of money, it was terminated, and the ships were sold to the highest bidder of about a fourth of the cost as to what the government had into it. So a complete waste of money. Shocker, right? So eventually all these ships were kind of moved to one spot, and they ended up here in the Potomac River in Maryland, or a lot of them did anyway. And I know there's over 100 of those ships, or close to 100 of those ships. Their graveyards right there. A salvage company called West Marine salvaged the vessels, took everything they could off of them, and then even lit a bunch of them on fire and put them to rest right here. There's also some other vessels out here, some commercial vessels and things of the sort, but the majority of this gravesite is those wooden ships that were built in World War I. And so as World War II was approaching, 25 years plus after this, the ship effort was being ramped up again, because we may have to enter World War II, and you started seeing ship manufacturers come out here and salvage and take as much of the material that they could that was usable. So at that time, it was definitely going to be steel ships, and actually some of them were concrete ships. But there was no use for the ghost ships any longer. And so that's why they're called the ghost ships, is because this is where they came to be buried. It's a very interesting location. Now, there was an effort some time ago that they were going to come in here and clean all of this up and kind of get rid of it all. But what they found is that the ships have become their own landscape. They've attracted wildlife, and they're their own ecosystem out there now.